Good day, Bashar.
And you good day.
Well, thank you. I have 3 questions.
Oh, all right. We don't know if we have 3 answers, but please proceed.
I suspect you have more than 3 answers.
Perhaps. We never know until we need them.
Okay. The first question relates to the interface between the individual versus the collective reality.
Yes.
And so specifically, you've spoken in previous transmissions about spaceships, landing, et cetera, disclosure, things like that.
Yes.
And what I'll call the collective reality in certain time frames for things to happen. And I guess my question is, what I don't understand,
Yes.
if as I am choosing alternate realities individually,
Yes.
what's the interface between those two? Because if I'm ready to see individuals from other planets, et cetera,
Yes.
what difference does it make when the majority of people on this planet will see that?
The difference that you're talking about is the idea of remembering that as you change your energy, you're actually shifting to another parallel reality that is more in keeping with the vibrational change you've made within yourself. Therefore, as a new individual, you're acting with a new collective that may be more representative and more ready of the idea you're talking about experiencing.
Okay, so the time frames that you've given for the collective for experiences like that, that's just a general time frame?
Is a general overall probability time frame for how we perceive the idea of the shifting that's going on within all the individuals will be more in alignment with a collective reality on that vibratory level.
And there will be individual differences within
Of
that.
course. But nevertheless, we are talking in general probabilities here.
Okay.
Does that help?
That helps.
All
Thank
right.
you. Second question.
Yes.
I'm curious about what you would say about human sexuality.
Yes.
And also, some people know, some people don't know, dolphins are very sexual.
Yes, many animals are, including humans.
Correct. So I'm wondering what you would like to say on that topic.
What, in 25 words or less?
Exactly.
Is that not a topic that you yourselves have devoted books and books and books to? Sexuality obviously serves a function. It can serve many different kinds of functions. But we will say this most of all. When done within integrity, when done from a place of unconditional love, when done from a vibration of your true self, it can be a physiological act of bonding and a physiological act of connection, not only to each other in many ways, but to many levels of your own consciousness and to source itself. But of course, it depends on how it's done. It depends on with what intent you do it. Yes?
Yes.
Does that help? Or is there some other direction you wish to proceed?
No, I think that's
All right.
That's quite sufficient for that
All right. Well, we weren't sure if you were asking us on a date. And third?
You'd have to speak to my girlfriend about that.
All right.
Okay, the third one is about what many people here would call starseeds, individuals that have previous existences on other planets.
Well, simultaneous existences on other planets,
Correct.
so to speak.
Yes.
Simultaneous connections to existences on other planets going on right now, even though some of them may be called the past or the future from your linear perspective.
So the question, I guess, is how common is that? And
Very.
Very common. Okay,
Yes.
so would most...
All of you, every single one of you have connections to other realities, other dimensions that you are downloading information and energy from. The concept of the starseed really isn't so much a description of the specific physical nature of these connections or the mechanical arrangement of these connections, because you all have it. The idea of the starseed is the degree of awareness you have of those connections as they exist. Does that make sense?
Yes, and what's the significance of being more aware of that?
It's more reflective of the idea of a holistic point of view, that you are seeing more of yourself simultaneously in much similar fashion to what we described in the chess analogy of seeing many moves ahead simultaneously, seeing many parallel realities all at once, which gives you a greater sense of what you as a being actually are. And thus then you can draw consciously upon more of those connections and apply those connections and the information you download from them more effectively in your physical reality here, even as many of those connections are drawing upon you and other connections to download information that serves them in their incarnational experiences.
Excellent.
Yes?
That's helpful. May I ask one other thing?
That was a question.
So we're up to 4. Can I go for 5?
That was another question. Would you like to try for 6? Just ask the question.
Scanning my energy, is there anything that you would like to say to me or that you would find helpful, that I would find helpful personally?
Are you acting on your highest excitement to the best of your ability every moment that you possibly can with no assumptions or insistence or expectation to the outcome?
Mostly.
That means no. Therefore, I would ask you to survey and investigate those areas of your life where you are holding back. For it is those areas you need to look at, and in discovering what it is that you are choosing to hold yourself back with, you will discover ways of releasing those things and becoming even fuller.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
I was going to ask you a question about what I was not seeing, what I was not accepting, or what I haven't learned.
But I just answered it, didn't I?
Yes.
How synchronous of us.
So now that leaves me without a question. I just wanted to check in and make
You
sure.
can make a statement. I will tell you a secret we have told to a few other people, and that is sometimes when you choose to make a statement instead of asking a question, you actually open up more doors that we can access more information through.
Then I would love to make a statement.
Then make a statement.
And my statement is that I've discovered that the reason my physical health is not all it can be is because I've been stubborn and not doing my work with the full joy, with no expectation of outcome.
And why have you chosen to do that up to this point? What have you been afraid of, in other words?
Exposure.
Exposure. You mean you're going to be naked?
Well, not physically, but yes.
And what is wrong with allowing people to know who you are?
They come after you.
They do.
They do.
And what does that have to do with what you experience in your life?
Wow.
You want help with that answer?
Yes, sir.
Nothing. It has nothing to do with anything if you choose to see it that way. You understand?
I do, yes.
There will always, for a time, on your world, in the way you experience it, there will always, for a time, be those who will not like what you have to say, who will not allow you to be you. You know why? Because when you are being you as fully as you can, you are a constant reminder to those who are not being themselves that they are not being themselves, and they don't like being reminded of that.
I got it.
You understand?
I do, yes.
But that is the greatest service you can actually provide them, because at least by example, you're giving them an opportunity to see through you that they could choose to be more fully themselves, even if they don't choose to.
Well,
By
sir,
not being yourself, you are removing that opportunity from them. You are only reinforcing their choice to be afraid to be themselves. So at first they may rebel against seeing an example, because by coming from a negative state, they only see the idea in a negative way. In other words, they're saying, you're rubbing my nose in what it is I am too afraid to do, and I resent you for that. Good impression, yes? And so the idea is that they're coming from a negative state to begin with, and so that's the only way they can see it. But the more you are yourself, the more unconditionally compassionate and loving you will be. And maybe, just maybe, eventually, they will get tired of being such curmudgeons and will actually say, you know, she has something going for her. It's working for her. Maybe it will work for me. And then you have given them an opportunity to make a different choice. But if you withhold that, you're only reinforcing the same fear and saying, it's all right to stay there. I'm there too. Misery loves company.
Well, I'm going to say wow, because now I feel like a really big hypocrite.
No,
of the
no.
Well, no, one of the things I teach all the time to
Yes.
all of the people I work with is when you show up for yourself,
Yes.
you give others the opportunity to show up for themselves. And
Absolutely.
you said the same thing, only better. And
Just
it's-
different.
Okay, well, different. And
Every
so-
single one of you is a gift. Do not deprive others of the gift of your being. You know the story, many of you perhaps, of the idea of the people sitting around a pot with different pictures on it. Do you know that story?
I do not.
A tribe is sitting around a large cooking pot, and on the cooking pot are painted many different kinds of images of their history. And as they sit around and sharing the meal, each one of them says what it is they are seeing the particular image of on their side of the pot. But if the person on the other side of the pot doesn't share their image, you don't have the whole history. You don't have the complete picture. You're leaving something out and depriving others of understanding their heritage.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
So, say what's on your side of the pot so everyone can share the meal and enjoy the feast. Yes?
Yes.
Sound like fun?
Yes, it does.
Thank you.
Thank you.